Problem 16. The diagram below shows a rectangle with side lengths 4 and 8 and a square with side length 5. Three vertices of the square lie on three different sides of the rectangle as shown. What is the area of the region inside both the square and the rectangle? One thing to recognize before you start is that 8 is this entire distance, not this small distance. And just by intuition alone, this is the longer length, so you should think 8. Oh, yeah, it's this length right here. So now that we have this, do not work with small diagrams like this. Small diagrams are easy to make mistakes and little room to write on. So on the test, draw yourself another diagram that's larger. For the sake of demonstration, I just copy-pasted it, but on the test, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure you have a rough sketch and you know the relationships that are involved. We know that this is a square, so we know that this is a right angle, and this is also a right angle. With this, we have a bunch of right triangles. Why is that? Because we have a 5 right here, we know this is 4. So that means this must be 3 because there's a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Now, we also know we can set this to be, 1 tick mark and this would be 2 tick marks. Since this right here is a straight line, this right here is a straight line, that must mean that this angle is a opposite angle, so it's equal. But since this is a right angle right here, that must mean that this is a 1 tick mark angle. Because we know from this triangle right here, where it's a right triangle, this angle plus this angle is 90 degrees. And since the two angles must also sum to 90 degrees in this right triangle, this must be a 1 tick mark angle. Likewise, this is a 2 tick mark angle, 1 tick mark angle, therefore this is a 2 tick mark angle, this is a 1 tick mark angle. With this, we have a bunch of right triangles, so let's draw vertices to represent them. And what is the right triangle that's most particular now that you have this? The most particular one is AIG, because all three side lengths are known. So the three side lengths that are all known will be used to reference other right triangles in the future. Now, it's very frustrating to not know this side and this side, because I know what this entire side length is, so I can rewrite these two side lengths in terms of a variable. Same thing with this one. So let's call this to be y. If that were to be y, then this would be 8 minus 3 plus y. So that would give you 5 minus y. So 5 minus y would be 5 minus y right here, and this would be x. So therefore, DE would be 4 minus x. All right, now let's draw some relationships. Most notably, let's draw the relationship between EGF and AIG. How did I know to choose these two triangles? The reason why for this is because for this triangle, I only know one side length. This one, I only know one side length as well. But for this one, I know 2. This one, I know 3. I always want to draw relationships between the triangles that have the most amount of defined sides. So triangle AIG will be similar to triangle GFE. Now, with this, what are the side lengths known in EGF or GFE? Well, they are the GF side with the FE side. Therefore, this must be similar to AI over IG. So AI, I already know that's 4 and IG is 3. So GF must be equal to 5 minus y and FE must be equal to x. But wait a minute, this is a square, right? So GE must be equal to 5. By Pythagorean theorem, we know that 5 minus y squared, so 25 minus 10y plus y squared, plus x squared must give you 25. I have two variables, I have two equations. I can solve for both variables. So let's do that. Once you solve for both variables, then the question is easily solved. So from the first one, cross multiply. 4x is 15 minus 3y. This one, the 25 and 25 cancels, negative 10y plus y squared plus x squared gives 0. Now from this, x will be equal to 1 over 4 times 15 minus 3y. So plug it into anywhere that has an x in it. So negative 10y plus y squared plus 1 over 16 times 225 minus 90y plus 9y squared must give 0. Therefore, negative 10y plus y squared plus 225 over 16 minus 90 over 16y plus 9 over 16y squared must give 0. Now, let's combine like terms. Y squared and this term right here gives 25 over 16y squared plus, well, negative 10y and this can be combined to get 16 in the denominator and negative 250y, right? So we have this term and we have y, and y completed. So plus 225 over 16 should give 0. Multiply 16 on both sides, then we get rid of the denominators, and then we divide by 25 on everything. So y squared minus 10y plus 9 should give 0. Now, that must mean y minus 1 times y minus 9 is equal to 0. So y can either equal 1 or 9. Now, obviously, 9 is an extraneous solution. Why? Because when y is equal to 9, in other words, this segment right here is equal to 9, that must mean it's greater than the overall side length of 8. So that's obviously not true, so y must equal 1. If y is 1, this side length must be equal to 4. Therefore, x must be equal to 3. Therefore, DE right here must be equal to 1. So I know it's getting a bit messy here, so let's delete some stuff. Actually, I don't have to. So we're trying to find CE. Why is that? Because we're trying to find ultimate area. So if I were to call CE, the area would be the area of the trapezoid, which is CE plus 5 times 5 divided by 2. I need to know what CE is. But with a bunch of right triangles and I know one side length, I can find the relationship with the other. DE, right, over DE over CE, the side I'm trying to solve for, must be proportional to 4 over C is the slant, so it must be equal to 5. Because remember, this triangle is similar to the 3, 4, 5 triangle right here. That's how I got this expression right here, and we know DE is equal to 1. Therefore, CE must be equal to the inverse, which is 5 over 4. So 5 over 4 is CE. So let's scroll to give ourselves some more room. So 5 over 4 plus 5 will give you 4, and then 5 over 4 plus 5, right? So 20, so 25 over 4 times 5 over 2 will give you 125 over 8. So 125 divided by 8 gives 845, and put a 5 here, and that's a 40 with a remainder of 5. So a mixed fraction would be 15, 5 over 8. That would be answer choice D, and we are done.